So I was called out today for an outlet that has been sparking, and it looks like the outlets are pretty old, probably about 15, 20 years old. Looks like they all need to be replaced. Also noticed that the electrical panel is probably at least 45 years old and would need to be upgraded. So I'm gonna give her an estimate to upgrade the panel as well as to fix her or replace her outlets. This, like if I just barely touch it, it's like coming off and on. So a lot of times what they used to do on these homes is there's like a stab in the back type instead of like using a screw to tighten down the wire. What they do is they stab it in the back.
Oh yeah.
And over time of removing and plugging it back in, it gets loose, and then it creates
that's what I figured.
sparks, and then it actually can heat up and cause it can cause some issues for sure. So the one receptacle is bad. We recommended that we change out all the receptacles, but she just wants to repair just the one. So I'm going to do a voltage test and an amperage test on that one circuit, make sure the breaker is good and the lugs are tight, as well as change out the receptacle and make sure that all the wiring stuff is safe. To get that hot, there's a bigger issue. Like there's something somewhere where it's producing way more power, and it's causing this. I'm all done here. Repaired the sparking outlet, removed it. The wires were pretty charred. Made all the spices up, added a new outlet, and tested the voltage and the amperage, and everything's good to go.
Hi guys, it's Tyler with Eco Electric. Just here looking at two Bryant panels here. We're going to do an inspection on them. There's a couple things that we're looking for. These are a bit older panels. They were installed in the 70s, but for their age, they're actually looking pretty good. Not too many loose connections. Everything looks pretty good. We're here looking for good grounding, good bonding to all the metal pipes and everything, making sure everything is updated to code. For the age of these panels, they're looking pretty good. This guy's set up with a 400 amps, two 200 amp panels, main panels here. They are pretty full here, and one thing that we do suggest if people just buy houses and they are looking to do any kind of upgrades or anything, we got to get more spaces in here. So though you do have an old panel and everything is working fine, it may not fit your electrical wish list. So we're just going to take a look at a couple things here and maybe shoot this guy off a couple different options on where we go from here. Neutrals look tight, nothing's double tapped here. A lot of times with these old panels you see double tap neutrals, which just means more than one circuit under a lug. Causes a lot of problem with heating, expanding and contracting with metals, which can cause these screws to come loose, and a loose neutral can be bad. Energy has to go somewhere. If it can't get to the panel, it usually goes back into your appliances, which can damage your appliances. So one thing you want to make sure is that you have nice and tight neutrals everywhere. This one looks pretty good. All right. Part of panel inspections, what we like to do is we like to check the service, we like to check grounding and bonding as well. If you want to see here, we have an exposed ground rod with some pipe clamps. These are not rated for ground rods. You want something that's called an Acorn, which is more rated for this type of grounding. Also, you want this ground rod that's way too high. Someone can come by and kick it and trip on it. It needs to be all the way down level with the dirt here. When this was built, I believe one ground rod was to code. Nowadays you need two. So it's just something we got to build on an estimate here, is to let this guy know what it's going to take to get this thing properly grounded and bonded. Also, I noticed that his heater, or his water heater, the hot water tank, or the hot water and cold water are not bonded together. It's just something else we got to bring up to the customer. Another part of checking the service is checking if your hot water pipes and your cold water pipes are bonded with the appropriate wire back to your panel. Just in case these things ever get energized, the electricity needs a way back to the panel. Usually you see a bond wire from your hot to your cold. In this case, we don't see one. Another safety hazard here that we got to bring up to the homeowner and let them know that something we got to address. All right, this one's for all you new homeowners out there. This is called the GFCI. You see them in your bathrooms, outside, your house, in your garages, anywhere near a water source, you're going to see a GFCI. We get a lot of calls for people not having power, and they don't realize that these are GFCIs, and when they trip, it kills power downstream of the branch circuit. So always keep an eye out for these guys. There's a little button on here that says test and another one that says reset. The newer models have a little indicator light. If it's green, you're good. But a lot of times, yeah, we get a lot of calls just to come out and reset these things. So that's what they are.